Hello and welcome to Bell Brothers Brewing.
Engineers talking about beers.
I'm Cody.
I'm Curtis.
And today we're talking about B3 Brews September Oktoberfest.
September's Oktoberfest.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Don't question it, just go with it.
So, today we're going to be drinking through the different Oktoberfests. And if they're American, typically it would be the Marzen. And if you're interested in that history lesson, take a look at our monthly theme video. But what beers do we have today, Cody?
So first up, from Bell's Brewing, we have an Oktoberfest.
We have Great Divides, Oktoberfest.
We have Hofbrau's, Oktoberfest.
Polliners, Oktoberfest.
Sierra Nevada, Oktoberfest.
Warsteiner's Oktoberfest.
Oktoberfesty.
Yeah, I think this is going to be a really difficult challenge as far as what we've got here because they're all technically listed as Oktoberfests.
Yep, you know, some may be more Marzen-y, some may be more Festbier-y, but overall, this is going to be a really difficult one. We're going to have to be looking for that thumbprint that sometimes you can find from a brewery where it's like, this is their style, this is kind of how they put their spin on everything.
I think the biggest differences you're going to see, right, is we're going to get like German style and American style, and hopefully we can kind of differentiate between those two. Mm-hmm. And I'm going to grant that if we can at least get that right, you get like half points, right? If we guess exactly, if we could guess it German or American, we're okay. But if you could guess the specific brewery, it's even better. But along with that thumbprint you're talking about, right? I think Sierra Nevada is going to be at least what I would consider one of the easier ones to pick out, hopefully.
We'll see. I mean, obviously they make good beer, and they know that an Oktoberfest is not supposed to be hoppy. So, I would assume, despite being known for their pale ales and IPAs, it won't be a hoppy Oktoberfest.
Right. Well, let's get into it. Let's get our first beer, and we're going to give this a whack.
Close your eyes, Cody.
I was getting sure we're good in frame.
I can check you in the frame. All right, 3, 2, 1.
The aromatics on this is strong, though. I can pick that one up.
It's that yellowy sort of color.
I think a really good balance. Interesting that, like, I'm not picking up a whole lot in there. It's very kind of toned down and neutral. I got ideas. I'm not sure how I'm going with it, but I got ideas.
All right, well, you guys ready to guess?
I think so.
Okay, in 3, 2, 1.
Hofbrau. So let's go to the beer.
I'm gonna go 7, I think.
7? Really? You know, I don't like, there's a certain bitterness on this one that I don't think is quite right to what I want to think of as smashable. Huh? Yeah, so I'm going to put this one at closer to like a 5, honestly. It's not bad, right? There's nothing wrong with the beer. There's no outside errors. I just think it's more bitter than I would think of like a typical Oktoberfest smashable beer.
It's interesting because I don't find it bitter. I actually found it really sort of sweet, right in the middle. The finish is nice and dry. It's got a little bit of bitterness, floral in the background, right at the finish, which is just right. It's perfect to style. But right in the middle, like it first hits your tongue, it's bubbly, and then it's just sweet. It's really sweet.
There's a big honey kind of sweetness that sits right in the middle.
Kind of threw me at first. I almost wanted to go for an American because I was like, this isn't refined or precise.
Yeah.
So it kind of struck American to me because I was like, oh, they just went big flavor. But
like there is that big sweetness, but for some reason my palate is picking up like just that big floral bitterness that's from the hop, and I'm not enjoying it quite as much as I would hope for like that.
I could see a little sugar broccoli effect going on. Like there is that bitterness in the finish and the sweet in the middle, and they kind of could come together in the middle there to give us a hint of the.
In general, though,
sugar broccoli.
Very delicate, very well like designed. You can tell that there's thought involved in this. It's not heavy-handed in one form or another. Like so I'm picking it apart, but it's not. Like, I mean,
it's like I'm saying,
minute details, right?
It's big sweetness, but it's big sweetness for a beer that's meant to be drank by a giant jug.
Exactly.
So it's not that sweet. It's nowhere near as sweet as like a bigger, more malty, big true malt forward style beer.
And obviously very drinkable since my glass is empty now, and so I really like this, but I'm going to put it as a 5 just for the style. Now, I enjoy the style over others, so if this was like drinking with other beers, I'd been like, this one's a lot higher, right? But like, for this style, my enjoyability, I think this is a middle of the road kind of beer.
Alright.
In 3, 2, 1, go.
And unlike the last one, I didn't pick up nearly as many aromatics.
It's definitely a little darker, more of a like a really light orange.
This one's hitting a little weird.
Yeah.
Smell familiar, slightly. I don't know. You talk about that thumbprint. Mm-hmm. There's a certain thumbprint that this is pushing me towards in one way or another.
We got a guess?
Yeah, I think so.
Yeah.
3, 2, 1.
Sierra Nevada.
Great Divide.
All right, so Cody said Sierra Nevada, and Curtis said Great Divide.
Yeah.
All right, let's go to the beer.
I'm gonna give this one a 4.
Agreed. Not loving this.
No, it's not well designed. It doesn't taste very good. Yeah, if the last one was a 5 with a sugared broccoli effect that was like hinted at this is way beyond that. Like it's actively wrong.
Sugared broccoli and kind of soapy almost.
Yeah. Mm-hmm.
It's a little soapy.
Well, so Great Divide, I know has had some problems with like some of their bitterness, weird, like the way that they adjust that into it. They do very good malty beers.
Yeah.
But I think this one got away from them, and so like that hint is what I was going after.
The slightly soapy, maybe a little too hoppy, led me towards Sierra Nevada because Sierra Nevada, they love their hops.
Right?
They're like Stone. They do IPAs and pale ales well. They can nail them, but they do struggle with some other stuff.
Right.
Stone, like some of their other beers that are not IPAs, you're just kind of like, nah, I'm going to go to Stone for an IPA. I'm not going to get anything else they make. Sierra Nevada's kind of the same way, and I think that might have happened here.
Some of the delicacy that you get like from that German style, right, is just lost. There's some heavy-handedness in this. You can tell that like the years and generations of work of tuning just the right products in.
This is my old Grand Pepe's recipe.
Yeah, this did not go that way, right? And it doesn't taste right. So whoever has this one, it's not.
It needs a few more iterations.
Yeah,
I wouldn't say
go
you're
back to the drawing board.
100% off base. The baseline is okay.
Probably.
The color is actually kind of nice. I like it. It's got the lighter orange. It's sort of like halfway between a Marzen and a Festbier.
Right.
Because it's light orange, not quite amber.
But taste.
Yeah, it's kind of soapy
and the
and
mouth
sugared
feels
broccoli.
not.
The mouth feels a little heavy, and
Yeah.
then the finish is bitey. It's not quite astringent, but it's bitey.
I would almost say there's a lingering astringency in there. I'm not enjoying it, and the aftertaste does not want to put me back to drinking it.
The mouthfeel is a bit heavy.
Yeah.
For what I'm expecting, I want that light.
It does sit.
Seltzery. It's kind of more in the medium range when it really should be a light.
I will say, I'm like, for Marzen's, when I think of like Festbier side, I'm thinking bready, I'm thinking cracker and toast maybe.
That's the other thing.
You know, caramels.
The malt flavors aren't there.
No, not at all.
It's bland malt flavor. It's almost none, with a hint of sweet.
Yeah.
And then soapy bitter.
That's it. I think that's the key problem to this beer. Honestly, that's the key problem here, is that there is no malt flavors. Like, there's just the malt sweetness, but no malt flavors. And therefore, the hop, whatever the hop is, comes in and just raffle stomps the palate.
Yeah,
it just
all the flavor.
All the flavor, right? Which is, it's not supposed to be there because it's probably a 60-minute.
And there's probably not really a flavoring hop in here, which is why it's just sort of bleh.
Exactly. And
It's
so you end up, like, you don't get malt and you don't have hop, and so you end up sitting in this weird limbo land of chemical. And I think that's a problem, honestly.
Yep.
That's it.
There you go. So use more secondary or more specialty grains.
Grains, yeah.
Get a little more flavor.
It needs some malt character, I think, to really bring it
Needs
back.
some of that aromatic Munich.
Right? Yeah, I just, if you sprinkled a little bit of some form of like honey malt or caramel 10 or aromatic Munich, or something to give the malts life, that would make the difference.
I think so. I think that would really help this one. Let's do the next one.
3, 2, 1, go.
Another like gold looking
pretty gold
beer
color.
there. That one's much more pleasant, honestly. Although still very weak.
That's what it's supposed to be. You're right, that is pleasant.
Whoa. That's got some different back and forth.
You guys think you know what it is?
I'm thinking I'm getting some divine intervention here.
All right, well, channel your
yeah.
deities in 3, 2, 1.
Sierra Nevada. Let's go to the beer.
5.
Yeah, I'm gonna put this one at 5 too. It's not
quite right.
Yeah, I'm not happy with it.
It's not bad.
Yeah,
but it's not quite right.
Now, so I think really, so I'm getting a flavor out of this one. I think it's more balanced towards like that American hop.
Yeah,
The 3 C's.
It's balanced and sort of falling into the hoppy side, but one, I already guessed Sierra Nevada, so I wasn't going to do it again.
So I'm going to win again. Get that. I'm going to keep the crown.
That being said, the malt flavors were good, and I think it had a pretty good balance. So I would say the only issue is that at the end it does kind of strike into a citrusy hop a little.
Yeah, it's that pine resin citrus
Which is-
that it like hangs this weird left on as you're finishing the beer.
Which does lead into Sierra Nevada. I wasn't thinking about the flavor at the end. I didn't, in the 30 seconds,
Right,
it didn't
yeah.
hit me that was sort of a citrusy hop.
Yeah.
Which does lead to think Sierra Nevada, but it also makes me think that I'm pretty sure it's not a German altogether.
No.
Because they wouldn't, like, they'd have to go out of their way to import an American hop.
Right.
To make a German beer wrong. They would not do that.
I was on the fence between that and Bell's because to me it's saying American almost immediately, which is kind of a little off. The delicacy that would like that delicate balance of the flavors just wasn't quite there, and then that hard left into the citrus.
resin.
I was going, that's American. Now the question was the American taste that I was picking up from Bell's or was that from Sierra Nevada? And the flavor. I don't know, maybe because, like we were talking about that thumbprint, the Sierra Nevada, exactly the reason why you did that earlier.
Yeah. Yep, I'm kind of thinking I made a bad choice. I think Sierra Nevada might be the right answer on this one. If, at the very least, I need to be shame-belled because this clearly has citrusy finishing flavors, and no German would do that. So I don't know why I said German.
Here we go. I'll give it to him. We'll cut to this one. So, Cody gave the Germans an American beer. Shame! Shame! Shame!
Shouldn't you know better?
I'm sorry, Polliner. I shouldn't have insulted you like that.
So much of this is staying in the video. It sings American to me, anyways. Now, I could be wrong, right? Germans have screwed us before.
Yep,
There's
could be
definitely
horribly wrong here, but something about the citrusy hop just screams somebody in America. Because why would a German brewery bother to import a hop that is definitely wrong for a local style? Like, they'd be paying extra money to know that you're making your beer wrong. If you were like, oh man, we don't have any German noble hops to use, just use one boil hop, skip any flavoring, because you can get away with not having any hop flavor in a Marzen or an Oktoberfest or a Festbier.
But if it was,
so just skip it.
But if it was Sierra Nevada, you would want to add more hops.
Yeah.
They probably already have like a timer, you know, it's like the whole system is set up
Somebody
to
just
automatically
turn
put
off
it
the
in
timer
there.
and throw the hops. It's an automatic 20-minute bin. It's just like, release the Citra.
Exactly. Must hop it. Must hop it. Now, middle of the ground, like I said, nothing wrong with it, like in one way or another. Just a bad call on the hop itself.
Yep, just right
to
at the
style.
end there takes a weird left turn into citrusy.
Still not as good though. So being that this is a 5, I want to go back to the first one, and I might want to bump that one up to a 6 as well, because that one was by far better than that. And in our category of shittiness to reasonable, that one's just a little bit better because the delicacy.
I keep my previous 7. I think my first one at a 7 was right. The second one at a 4 was also correct.
Yes, definitely.
This is mediocre.
A 5. Yep. All right,
on to the next
Let's
one.
move on to the next one.
In 3, 2, 1, go.
Wow, same color.
Yeah,
Man.
a lot of light ones.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on with that. Oh, but the aromatics on that? Yeah, that's a different beastie. Ooh. Oh yeah.
Yeah.
If we hadn't been in one category, I'm certainly thinking we're in the other category now.
So good he decided to breathe it.
He's got the roundness.
I really needed to breathe the alcohol and get that real vibe on it.
All right, so do you guys have a guess?
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
Or Steiner.
All right, let's go to the beer.
I'm gonna give this one, honestly, a 7.
Yeah, I think I'm gonna go 7 as well.
Yeah.
It's very good.
It is an excellent version. You can tell this is more of the German style. Obviously, we both guessed that way because the malts really sing through. It's got more of that weedy, kind of more
Bready, crackery.
Yeah, exactly.
It's got a bready, crackery. It's smooth. The hops are just kind of present. They're not really dominating. You've got a hint of bitterness that comes through right on the tail end around your tongue, and then a slight sprinkling of spice throughout the whole thing. That
Right.
spicy herbal
Yes.
that you get from a good German hop.
Delicate German noble hop. I like it. It's well balanced to it. The malts definitely shine through, which I think is what we've missed in those last two that we really hit. Was it just? I think Marzen or Oktoberfest just need to have. It's really middle balanced, with just a slight hint of the malt flavors that really shine through on it.
Yep. And then you can either have no hop flavor or very, very light hop flavor. It's, I mean, that's just to the style guidelines is light to none.
But this is just drinkable. This is very
Smooth, it
solid.
drinks nice.
Yes. Now I'm continued to be upset here in the sense that we haven't hit anything in that what I would consider that Marzen category.
Yeah, these have all been true Festbier-y style ones. I don't see that
Super.
nice amber gold or the
Yeah, I do. You're
ambery
right. Amber,
orange.
orange, kind of maybe
Yeah.
like light brown, maybe kind of. But like typically, you want that like big ruby color to shoot through it.
big jug of orange.
Yeah, exactly. I consider that to be like the Marzen, the Oktoberfest in German style, where you get those big bready, crackery kind of. This one is still like there's malt character or malt flavor, but it's more like that sweet, maybe almost wheat or
Yeah,
like
it's
light.
it's an undefined hint of sweetness and then some light breadiness, and that's about it.
And I really want that cracker toast, bready that you get from those darker malts. Maybe like shouldn't be like caramel sweetness, but like the hint of like burned sugar kind of deal
Yeah.
behind it. I don't know.
a little bit of caramelization, but
Yeah.
not really caramel.
I don't want like sticky sweet toffee. I just want a little bit behind there, and I just haven't quite hit that in these beers yet.
Yeah, I think that's really that would be the thing that would push us past the 7. I think 'cause
Right.
we both agree on this. Because if we got one that had that nice hint of extra sweetness, like a bready with a hint of extra sweet and a hint of that little caramelization, that would really be like, bam,
That's the
that's
style.
the one we want.
Exactly. Yeah. And these guys, they just continue to be kind of a letdown as far as color, aromas, taste.
They're doing
just-
the modern Festbier style.
Yeah,
I think that's really
yeah.
what we're seeing here. Is these have all been modern Festbier style, other than that one that was squeaking into like a really pale orange color.
Yeah, but that one was Sierra Nevada's Screwball
Or that was just the one that neither of us really particularly
Oh.
like. That got the 4.
Great Divides.
See, what's
That's what I
interesting is you
consider.
guys are saying that you want like a little bit of the toffee or the caramel or something, but the style guide specifically calls out that overtly toasted caramel or roasted or toffee notes are actually against the style. Those are not supposed to be there.
Yeah, which is why I said I don't want the toffee flavor. It's the idea that you've got this like the darker bready, toasty note that I think brings in. And with toast, it's hard to explain like toast, right? It's like burnt wheat, but it's not, right? There's a caramelization I think that still occurs on the sugars that are bread, but it's not caramel. I'm trying to explain like it's the chemistry. You know what I'm saying here? Like there's a sweetness to it, right? Like when you take bread and you put it in the toaster
Toasted.
and you pull it out, it tastes different.
It's like a toasted, sweeter sort of bread.
But
yeah.
it's not supposed to be toasty. Per the style guide, toasty is not an appropriate flavor. It's supposed to be doughy and bready.
Well,
For
these
the
are definitely
Festbier or
not
for the Marzen.
Yeah,
Um,
that's a good question.
that was for the Festbier. The
Yes.
Marzen
No,
was the
Marzen-
same.
Both of us are thinking it should be Marzen. That's the bigger
That's
jump.
the thing. Both of us prefer Marzen over Festbier.
Yeah, because if I wanted to drink piss, I'd drink Coors,
I can do local piss.
fresh from the mountain springs.
Okay, yes, you can have toastiness on a Marzen.
Yes. Aha! And that is that character. It is that flavor that I want in
That is
my beer. That's my Oktoberfest beer.
That's what makes me think Oktoberfest.
Yes.
Move on. In 3, 2, 1, go.
Damn, same color.
This one's got a hint of orange. It's got an orangey highlight. So
There's something on
Closest
the
we're
aromas too. I'm not happy with that. That's a weird. How many have we guessed? Are we on 5?
5.
Okay, so we do have another one to go. Okay, I thought I was like, man, I swear I got more to go here. Man, that is such a hard mix.
Some of you guys have guessed.
It's
Yep.
Yeah, I think so.
All right, 3, 2, 1.
great
Bells.
divide.
Let's go to the beer.
4. 4.5.
Yeah, I'm gonna give this one a 5 still.
not quite as bad as the previous 4, so yeah, I guess I'll go 5. 'Cause it's not,
So we both guessed Americans, and this is the best American that I've tasted thus far in the 5 category. It does not have that balance that it sings to me as German, which obviously you picked that up on because that's what you picked too. Right?
the biggest thing, I think the thing that gives it away every time is the lack of malt flavor.
Boom.
There's
That's
malt sweetness.
Yeah.
It's kind of malty, but it's not flavorful. It's just here's some grains. Have a nice day.
Beers.
Well, but like no, so I think they saw it and they're like, oh, it has to be like this light beer. So we're just gonna do our basic 2-row brewers, and we're not gonna add any specialty adjuncts to it, and we're just gonna put a little hoppiness.
There's a hint of color, so maybe they threw some like caramel 10 on it.
Yeah, but there's so much more than even we explored, right? When you go to the Marzen
You got
category.
your Viennas, your aromatic Munichs. There's so many interesting malts that you can add that won't over sweeten it, but will add a tasty, interesting character to your malt profile.
Right.
And this doesn't have it. It's just plain.
Yeah, it's very neutral.
Super plain.
Agreed. And I think the hops start to shine through at that point because it's so neutral. And that's like, that's not what I want to taste in my Marzen or in my Oktoberfest.
And in this one, I don't think they used a flavor hop at all. Because there's no, I'm not getting hop flavor. There is.
I'm getting grapefruit again.
And then I'm just getting a plain bitter. It's not really any
neutral bitter. Maybe I could be convinced to go into maybe the 3 C's, but it would have to be so light. Maybe it's their bittering, and they had so much alpha acid that it didn't isomerize out.
I don't like grapefruit, so I taste it.
Yeah.
I don't know.
I get a bitter, but not a specific bitter. There's nothing really coming through. It's just flat flat, lifeless malt with flat bitter at the end.
Yeah, and there's nothing wrong with the beer as far as process wise.
Yep.
Right?
It's just flat.
And there's no stringency necessarily.
Nope.
So that's reasonable. I can drink it.
Mouthfeel's correct. It's
Yeah,
on the lighter
I agree.
side. I like the mouthfeel. It's the correct mouthfeel. It's got the correct balance because it is slightly on the malty balance. It's just
there's no flavor there.
There's no flavor to balance it.
It doesn't. You
But
balance
we're going to
malty,
shine a light on this empty pedestal. This is where I put my malt. If I had one.
I agree. I think it's just missing something, right? There's just not something here that's bringing me back to the beer.
They kind of missed the whole, here's the pinnacle, the keystone of the beer that is the thing we're trying to build around. At least from our perspective of how we build a beer. They got the baseline, they built the foundations, and then said, screw putting on the pinnacle. We'll just leave it there.
Yeah, it just misses the purpose, right? Any good beer, any beer that you drink, there should be one kind of hint characteristic, right? That is just, ooh, I really like that piece. And you can say whatever that is, right? Whatever that beer is,
you grab the keystone. It's the keystone of the beer. Like, this is the core, the thing that I'm trying to accentuate. And this gets all the way to that point and goes, I forgot that part.
Yeah, and it just misses it. I'm not too happy with that. But it's not a bad beer across the board. So let's move on to the next one.
All right, in 3, 2, 1, go.
Hey! Oh, no, it's just my hand was in the way.
No, it's a little more color to it. It's not a buttload, but
I would say
it's
this
got
is the darkest one we've had today. Yeah, I would say this is the amberest we've had.
Oh, and there's some of that bready. I'm not trying to give hints, but that's what I'm talking about.
That's a good one right there.
That's the stuff. That's a good one. I'm liking that a lot, and it's certainly pointing me in a certain direction.
Yeah.
All right, so in 3, 2, 1.
Polliner.
I knew my old Polliner was wrong.
Right.
So I'm not going to sit on my pride on that one. That last Polliner guess is wrong, but this is Polliner.
Yeah.
Let's go to the beer.
9.
Agreed. Everything we were just talking about on the thing to break through being a 7 in this cup.
Yeah, this is what I'm talking about. This is a great beer. It's enjoyable. It gives you some of those bready, kind of rich notes to it.
Bready, toasty.
You can tell that they added a little bit extra to the
hint
the
of
malt.
almost a light raisin, like
like a little dark.
They just took a raisin and sort of scrubbed it along. Got a piece of toast and someone just kind of rubbed a raisin over it.
This is a so much better beer than everything we've tasted today, hands down across the board.
This is when I say I want an Oktoberfest, or when you say Oktoberfest beer.
Yeah.
This is what my brain thinks of. This is what I go to when I want an Oktoberfest.
Now, you could go a little darker than this personally, like give it a little bit more of that bready richness. It would be very minute balance to it, but I think you could go just a bit more on this. It's still kind of go like walk your way into that Marzen category.
You can get a little bit more of the toasty bread.
Yeah,
Versus this is like this is a light golden bread, doesn't quite have the darkened edges yet.
Right? Yeah, exactly. But I like this. This is a great beer. This is fantastic. Very good beer across the board. It's such a nice, bright, shining difference of what's going on. Of course, we could be wrong across the board.
We could be wrong across the board, but yeah, this is definitely more in the Marzen style, less of the Festbier style.
Yep.
And it is just so good. I don't know why they decided they needed to go to the modern Festbier in the 90s. Like,
Right?
this is
Why-
better.
why
Why
change
would
this?
you change this?
Right?
This is so good. Why would you give this up for I want a more watery, less flavorful beer? Come on.
Although I have to say that if this is an American beer, I'm sorry.
Whoever did it, you did a great job.
Fantastic job. And I'll take everything back that I've said about it. But I would be willing to bet my left nut that this is German. At least German.
At the very least, because it tastes German.
So do you guys want to find out?
Sure. So let's
see
give
how
us,
bad we did.
Where's our results?
Alright, so beer 1. Cody, you said it was Wursteiner, and Curtis, you said it was Hofbrau, and it was Hofbrau.
That's what I'm talking about.
Beer 2, Cody, you said Sierra Nevada, Curtis, you said Great Divide, and it was Great Divide.
Oh, yeah! Well, but that one you had wrong because, like, I got the citrusy kind of American taste, right? So.
Beer 3, Cody, you have no excuses. This was your first Polliner guess. Curtis, you said Sierra Nevada. Curtis, it was Sierra Nevada.
Yeah. And you even recognized that after the fact, right? Like the beer, it tasted, like, while it was still hoppy, it had that flavor to it.
Yep.
Yeah.
Beer 4, Cody, you said Hofbrau. Curtis, you said Wursteiner. It was Wursteiner.
Wow.
Jeez, you gonna go 6 for 6?
Fucking A.
Beer 5, Cody, you said Great Divide. Curtis, you said Bells. It was Bells. And you both nailed the last one. It was, in fact,
Polliner.
Polliner.
Fantastic.
Wow, great job, well done.
Yeah,
6 for
apparently
6
I know
on
my Oktoberfest. Just like I know my wheat beers.
Yep.
I don't know something about that.
I
Huh?
got two wins in a row, and that was a crushing defeat there because I got 6-1, and a perfect score for Curtis.
I'll give you half a point because you recognize your Sierra Nevada was off.
He gets a whole point for that. He got one beer right.
Yeah. Okay. So no, in the beginning of this, we talked about half points for the right area, right?
Yep.
If you're gonna get that. If Cody gets half points for his right region, where
If
are
he
we
gets
at?
half points for his half region, that's 2, 2.5, 3.
3 points. So halfway, right?
Yep.
So I mean, not perfect, but in the same sense, you have at least a general idea, half of the beer.
The only one that he really dicked up was, how
Sierra
could you insult Polliner by calling it Sierra Nevada?
It
tasted like grapefruit.
at the end, and for some reason it didn't click in my head. I was like, this is a little too bitter, but the baseline has got the right malt. It's got a nice refined base.
It did.
And then it was just left turn into citrus, and my brain wasn't clicking. I was like, there's something wrong with this one, but I can't quite hit it. And then Curtis said citrus, and I went, that's what it is. It tastes super citrusy out of the finish. Damn it, that means it's a Sierra Nevada.
Yeah, right.
So the other stat you guys are always interested in, your low ball of the day was Great Divide with a grand total of 8 points.
Yeah, and it should have gotten less than that, honestly.
Yes.
If we were going to look at the whole stream of categories, like let's look from like 1 being shit and 10 being the greatest beer. Polliner obviously gets a 10, right? Which we gave it like a 9. That's fine enough. That's good enough. That one was so bad.
It needs to go down.
It needs to go down to
that
6. It needs to go down to 6. That's nasty.
Yeah.
And obviously your high point of the day was Polliner with a nigh perfect 18 out of
Polliner kicking ass,
Yep.
taking names. Like I said, I think we consider Oktoberfest to be more in that Marzen category, and this could be. It could be better. It could be more. I have tasted better Oktoberfest, but it's a solid.
Damn good.
Yeah, it's a solid 18.
Takeaways for the viewer. If you want to hurt yourself, go get a Great Divide Oktoberfest.
Go get an American Oktoberfest.
Yeah, American Oktoberfest.
I mean, if you want a hoppy Oktoberfest, get a Sierra Nevada.
Don't do that.
If you want, I think the bland, I think Bell's probably was the one that we both called bland.
So actually, you had two of those.
They're like true, just.
So Cody immediately went up on Bell's from 4 to 5. So you both gave that a 5, pulling it in at 10, and you both gave Sierra Nevada a 5, pulling it into 10.
Yeah, because both of those, I think, they just, like we talked about, the Americans just struggle at bringing in that hop flavor, or not hop flavor, of course they don't do
Malt
that.
flavor.
No, the malt flavor. They struggle bringing that malt flavor in and that balance that just, this style needs that.
Yes, it's got to be balanced to the malt side just a little, and it has to have nice malty flavors. And both of those just kind of went, and dropped it at the malt flavor.
Right at the finish line.
And then Sierra Nevada was like, haha, Citra.
Great Divide done pooped their panties. That was not good.
No, throw that recipe out, start over, do a few pilot batches, then can it and sell it to people. Because I am upset I paid you for that.
Right.
Tell me we don't have a 6-pack.
No, the only ones that we have
good.
6-packs of are the German ones.
Yes.
Woo!
We hope you enjoyed this beer review. Thanks for joining us here.
Make sure to like and subscribe.
This has been Bell Brothers Brewing.
Engineers talking about beers.
Cheers.
Know where your lines are.
Yeah, because those I stay in a little ways. And Worcestershire. Worcestershire? 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 No, sorry. Worcestershire. The light color immediately tells you that.
Cut. Let's go to the beer, do the numbers, then explain the
Oh, sorry.
Yes.
On to the next one.
Must we sing this song?
Yeah. On the next one. I can drink the
The
German.
Hofbrau and the Warsteiner, I think we have 6-packs
Cool.
of.
Well, we'll split some of those.
All of the
It's no
American
problem.
ones I was able to get in singles.
Yeah, good. Because
So, I'm mad
none
that
of
I
the
gave you $1.69 for that.
and it's not worth $1.69 anyways.